Hey guys, me, your boy, I'm back. Welcome to the stream. And there's some more drawings. Well, not more drawings, it's the same drawing I've been working on for a little while now. The past few streams. Honestly, I should have probably finished it by now, but I've been busy working and sleeping. Because the weather just makes me sleep all the time during winter. I don't get much done. I was supposed to start streaming at 5 o'clock today, and now it's 8 o'clock. Because I fell asleep. Anyway, we have Ganondorf over here. Not actually Ganon, I just think it's funny because his hair is the same color. I'm gonna keep him green for now though. Honestly, I think it looks really cool. This definitely isn't the final design, but I actually like how it looks. Did it as a joke, and I just like it. This guy, look at this guy. Look at how he does it. Anyway, let's do a little drawing. So there's a few things I want to do today. First of all, I want to actually start doing the render properly today. It's something I've been putting off. I keep saying I'm going to do this stream, I want to focus on it. I haven't gotten around to it yet until now. But now that I'm supposed to get around to it, I realized I kinda just want to put it off and like not do it yet. I actually really like this style of when people draw and like don't shade it and just do flat colors and a lot of detail. I think that's a really nice style, and honestly it really works here as well. But I'm going to do some rendering because that's what I normally do. Yeah, I do actually like how flat this all looks, and it looks really nice. Very retro, honestly. Might add a background really quick. Again, putting off the actual rendering work. That looks nice to me. I never know what colors to do for the backgrounds without like obscuring the character in focus. Ciao. There we go. Background done. Forward. No, we're not going to keep this as the background. I'm going to delete this layer. So one thing I actually really wanted to do before starting any of the rendering was something I honestly should have done before doing any coloring in, but I just wanted to get ahead of it since I was putting it off. He's supposed to be holding a fireball in his hand here, which is going to act as a big light source, and it's better for us to do that before we start coloring in because that is also going to need coloring in. And this light source affects everything around it as well. So we're going to need to actually draw the fireball first and then color in the fireball. And then we can use fireball as a secondary or primary light source. I forget which one it is. A half primary light source, I guess. I don't want it to be harsh lighting and have the fireball be the only light source hitting his face. Is why I'm hesitant to say primary, because I don't want it to be too present, even though it is present. There will be ambient light It will be side light and edge light. Maybe some sort of directional light from a different direction as well. Give it a bit more polished. But let's just stop talking about it and actually get into drawing it. So first things first, I want to just stop distracting myself with all these colors and stuff. So I'm going to just hide all the colors there and go back to basics. And then I'm going to start on the fireball. The reason why I'm procrastinating doing the fireball so much is because I actually don't know how. Crazy, right? I always kind of... Okay, so I've got a main character who focuses on using fire powers, who I want to draw and animate in this series and have it the focus. I'm using his fire powers all the time, but a little problem is I don't know how to draw fire. Like, I can draw fire, I'm just not good at it. Like, if I'm going to draw fire, here's how it would look. Crazy. That's my fire. And it's not a horrible fire, but it's not a great fire either. I've animated fire before, but only in little tiny bits. Not huge amounts. So that's definitely going to be a challenge when it comes to actually animating all this. But yeah, I don't want it to just be this little generic, goofy cartoon fireball. I want it to have weight and power. Although don't get me wrong, this does fit very nicely in his hand here and looks nicer. But again, it's too cartoony. I don't want it to look like that. I want it to look more like an energy beam of fire, you know? Or like an energy ball of fire. So let's just play around with workshopping how some fire should look. And then we'll actually start drawing the fire. I change the brush just so I've got a bit more freedom. If I was going to draw fire, I always just start with the edges, the corners, which probably isn't a great thing to do. And it always ends up looking cartoony. It always goes all the way up, and then only has a little bit shooting out the bottom. This is our source. Look, already this one looks a little bit nicer than this one. Not really though. I don't know. Let's try going for a ball fire like I originally intended. We got a ball. I want to. I've never actually drawn like a little energy ball before, so I'm kind of losing my mind over this. I guess I could just like draw a spiral, and then try and have fire follow that spiral. Then it just kind of looks very sad because fire is supposed to travel upwards. And it's very easy to lose my place in the spiral. I mean, it kind of works, but it also just kind of looks like Sonic, so... I don't know. This is going to be harder than I thought it was going to be. I think I'm going to need a reference for this one. Alright, what do I look up for? Anime fire. My reference. And it came up with a bunch of fire anime. Don't get me wrong, Promare is fire. Love that anime. It's really cool. Fire Force as well. Did look at Fire Force. Anime focused on fire. It would have a lot of good references for it. No way. It's Calcifer. Not quite though. Kind of like Team Noob Calcifer. Chainsaw Man, also a fire anime because it is peak. I need to like get into reading Chainsaw Man again. I kind of fell behind with the latest chapters. I haven't read it in a while now. Maybe if I just search fire effect. I don't know. Like, I guess the shape doesn't need to be too complex, but also I want it to look nice. So, because it's the focus, it's the centerpiece of the drawing, right in the middle of that. So that's gonna make me want to really do it properly. Nope, I'm still not seeing great fire effects. There's like a few here and there which are like kind of okay, but they're not what I want for this style. I got a few here. These ones look nice, but they're not in the right shape. I could just modify my original one, my original style to be a bit sharper. And just like have it like, you know, just a little bit more detailed than normal. Which I'm not like a huge fan of. It was kind of like a cop out. I don't know when to like stop the fire as well. I always end up making the look of it furry. Make holes in the fire, make it look like Swiss cheese, and eventually it'll work. My motto. Like, I guess this isn't too bad. The way you want to make fire is you want to use flint and steel. You want to do the big curve. Like, you got a small curve followed by a big curve, basically. That's the basics for fire. And then this big curve will go up, and eventually it will separate off and cut off from the rest and turn into a small curve. While the other one continues to grow and becomes the new big curve. And then these two just keep flipping around and swapping, and that's how you make fire. But for like a more stylized approach to fire and have it more energy and oomph, then it's a bit more complicated. Probably not more complicated, but I don't know how to do it. So I want to learn. I should have thought about this going into the stream, but oh well. We live and we learn. Let's look at this one. Make this bigger. Again, it does actually kind of work. But it's not exactly what I wanted to go for. I think squashing it down helps a ton. Goddamn, helps a lot actually. Yeah, so we might just end up doing this. Let me just I'm going to reduce some of the line art in the background just so I can focus on drawing the fire better. One more thing, I just want to try to just draw a orb. Draw an orb. And I want to try and make that my fire source. See how this goes. Could go horribly wrong, could go horribly right. Either way, we'll see. Like, how do you draw something so shapeless and give it, you know, shape? Okay, I think we're getting there a little bit. I think if I just make all the lines sharper and wobblier, like they are burning, it gives me a nice effect. Really hurts my wrist though. Not gonna lie. My wrist is killing me doing this. Like, I'm trying to make wobblier lines, so I'm holding the pen tighter than I normally would. Okay, so I have a problem here. This part is looking a bit off. You're not gonna see this part anyway, but I still want it to look, you know, nicer. That part doesn't make sense. Whenever a piece snaps off, the following piece dips a lot lower. So whenever we've got one of these bits here, where a piece is snapped off, we want the following piece to be a bit lower. I'm gonna hide in some of my original fire drawings here as well, for the sake of style, and because I think it'd be funny. There we go. That's kind of what I wanted for the fire. It's a bit oblong. A little bit oblong. Grow it a little bit. We can shape out this part a little more. I know it's kind of even more oblong. Interesting. And again, it's fire, I guess, so I guess being an uneven shape isn't the end of the world for it. Yeah, it's whatever. Oh boy. On one hand, I don't like how oblong it is, but on the other hand, it's fire, so it doesn't really matter. It's also being held in its palm, so it's going to be a little bit squished anyway. I will move this side a little bit more, just to even it out. Oops. Got a circle tool here. Be a bit more precise with this. I don't want it to be a perfect circle. I just want it to be more even. So then I can start squishing it appropriately. This is already going to do wonders for us. Part here is sticking out a bit, but does it matter too much? Not really, no. We have a ball of fire. I'm gonna move some of these as well because they are facing downwards, but they should be facing upwards. It's fire. And that looks a bit more fine to me. Again, I don't know how much any of this line art is actually going to make it into the final drawing, because like it's going to be a really bright light source in the center of our screen, so a lot of it will just end up being painted over anyway. But I still want to get the foundation correct, because if the foundation's a bit wonky, then it just kind of snowballs and then it's harder to fix later on. That's my reasoning for why I take my time on the starts. Is there anything else I could add to this little fireball here? Could add like just a few little extra fire lines going here and there. Give you a sense that it's actually hot fire. Hot fireball. I think that kind of gets the point I want across. Oh, that's a little fireball one. Very nice. And that's our original sketch. Really puts it into perspective how a little time and effort can have a big difference, right? Like you can see our original fireballs versus our final fireball, and it only took us a few minutes. Anyway, they can get deleted now. We don't need those anymore. We name this layer F fire. I'll put it in the line art layer. Yeah, should I? Let me put it on top. I'll put it in the line art layer for now. So it's on the top of the line art layer. The line art for this one doesn't need to be super thick because it's going to be bright anyway, so it's barely going to have much line art. Now from here, where do I want the firewall? I want it in the center of his hand, slightly raised. I want it squish. think squished works. I think that works. Very good size. I'm gonna keep this fireball here, just so I can potentially use it another time. I'll delete unaltered version. Okay, let's add our color layer back. With all our colors. Minus the Ganondorf color. I think I might actually add the fireball in a new layer. Let's do that instead. Put a fireball in a new layer. Emit fire. And it'll just help us control things a bit more. That one needs to be white. Maybe a little bit less white. There we go. A little bit of a warmer white. If we have the color start at the brightest possible color we can, then how are we going to make it brighter later on? I'm gonna fill in all these gaps now. Yeah, I like that. Behold, ball, orb of ball. Now, it's been a while since I've done this. Can I make a layer mask? Yeah. I want to layer mask this, just so I don't have to delete the entire thing. So after putting all that effort into making this fireball, we will now make a layer mask. So all the progress that we just made when we just lost erasing these fingers out of existence. The layer mask just lets us erase them, but not fully. So they're not actually gone. They just look like they're gone. Okay, we erased this part, but we actually need this. So we can just paint it back in. Not actually gone. I'm a little hesitant to get rid of too much of this line art. But at the same time, whatever. Now the real question is this finger in front or behind eyeball? I want to say behind, but it looks like it's in front because of this part here that goes up. Kind of crazy. I can see the image perfectly in my head, but when it comes to drawing it, I'm kind of just all over the place. My brain's like, I don't know how to do that. Figure it out. There we go. All in our hand. Very cool. Thank you, Kanye. Oh well. Yeah, I think it could have been a little bit lower down. But I don't mind too much about that. A magic ball of fire can go wherever it wants. Can we make another one? No, he's dual wielding. Double whammy. Two balls of fire? So, two rice balls? I'm not sure what he's doing with his hand. It's just kind of like a power stance. Maybe he's harnessing power. Either way. Now we can finally skip. Not getting into the rendering that I keep putting off. Let's do that. Right after Quick Studio loads, please. Thank you. That would be nice. But first things first. Goodbye Ganon. Get rid of the Ganon layer. Second thing second. Oh crap, actually before second thing second. I'm just gonna do this on the mouth layer because I can. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm gonna do this on the mouth layer. I just need to fill in these eyebrows and stuff. Let's just go with a really dark red. Almost grey. And just fill in these eyes here. We've got the line art to just give them texture, look a bit nicer, more stylized. But we still need to fill those in as well, otherwise they look a bit unfinished. So I'm just quickly filling in these just so they're more full. Same goes for the eyebrows. Although I'm just going to quickly fill these in. That seems a bit easier. There we go. And just so they're not too dark, because they are looking a bit dark here, I'm going to add some highlights as well. Just on this layer already. It'll be really light brown, I think. Yeah. Just want to really quickly add some more highlights here as well. Just an add layer. Could do it from the bottom. I'm gonna do it from the top. Well, actually, bottom would work because the light's off actually. Decisions. Just trying to line up this gradient properly. There we go. Bring it down a little tad. Merge it with this line, and then go back to this. That just looks a little bit nicer, in my opinion. Still need to do the eyes, but those are part of the rendering, so we won't do them yet. Nope. There we go. Now, let's actually start moving on to rendering, start moving on to skin. Personally, when I do skin, I like to select the color, change the hue to a bit redder normally, for like pale skin characters. I'll color the entire neck normally if it's like covered up, make it darker, and then also bit of that shade onto the jawline, the ears. Whoa, how did I miss that? I wonder how many people that's bothered so far. I had no idea that was there. Clear inside the ears. And also I should use a wash brush instead for this, so I get a more textured paint. The tops the ears a bit, where they'll get a little bit red. And blend these a little bit with a texture blender. And then I also like to just lightly shade around the hairline as well, because the hair leaves a little bit of shadow. We just want to add a little bit of shade on there, kind of like a transition as well. So this is just all of our hard shading out of the way. Use a soft brush here to go to that. We'll do some hard, harsh shading around the eyes. And the eyebrows as well. Don't forget, the eyebrows do stick out from the head, so you do need to add a little bit of shading underneath this as well. Only a tiny bit, not a lot. Honestly, even the shading eyebrow is quite a lot, so I don't need to do that much. Just want to add a little bit around the mouth, not a ton. Don't need to. And then if it's looking a little bit too harsh, like it is here, do a little bit of erasing. A bit more blending. And that'll be that. All done. Now we can move on to this hand. Although we've got to keep in mind that the light source is coming from this way. So it should be catching on all of these fingers as well. Start with the backs where we know for sure going to be shaded. And we're getting a little bit too carried away on the shading now. You know what? I'm going to have this entire finger shaded up the back part, which will definitely be seeing some light. Maybe the top as well, actually. We don't want to get too carried away with that. And then I think that should be fine now. This hand at least. We could add a bit more shading here and there. Like this one will be more shaded as well until it gets to this part. But we're gonna save that for the next part. Because next we need to start adding the under shading. Don't know if that's the correct term for it, but it's what I'm gonna call it for now. Basically, we just right now I'm doing the hard shading. Next, I'm gonna be doing soft shading. Going to add a gradient underneath everything, make it look a bit more nicer. I might focus on this hand after I do these two parts. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick little break, and then when I come back, I'll start shading the rest. So, I'll see you guys in a second. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's quickly... How many dinosaurs can we put in the chat? Whoops. There we go. Dinosaurs. Okay. So underneath this hard light layer, I'm just going to add a soft light layer, or soft shadows. I normally like to do. I like to add a little bit of light on the fingertips. And add a little bit of radiance here and there. I'll add some up here as well. Want some gradients in the middle of the head, where he is kind of straining a bit. And gradients around the eyes, soft light in there. On the ears as well, the tops. And some around the hairline. And it just makes everything a little bit more softer. Still need to add a lighting layer as well, which will definitely bring more stuff together. Let's go back to the hard light layer. Light's coming from this way. And here, I'm gonna want these fingers to be concealed a bit by the light. Also going to add a little bit more shading here. Just want to add some darker shadows in between where like there is absolutely no light. And then let's go here as well. Use this as a base. If we hide this little fireball layer, so we can add shadows over here as well. So that the firewall is going to be semi-translucent as well. Obviously this is going to be all lit up by the firewall, so it doesn't need to have a lot of shading on it. And then all these fingers here are going to be completely shaded, basically. We got our reference up, you can see here. It's only the edges of the fingers that are lit up. The rest are dark. Obviously I'm not holding a fireball in my hand here, so the lighting's not exactly the same. And then here, this part will be lit up because the gap between the fingers where the light can actually shine through, but it won't go all the way through because there are bumps in the hand which will block some light as well. Even though the light is all here, I still want to add shading in between the crevices for a bit more definition. Yeah, I don't want the entire hand to just be completely flat. There we go. And then again with our soft light layer, we'll just add little gentle brush strokes to soften things out a little bit. So we'll put the fireball back in its hand, and then you can see how the light is affecting them. And how this is also affecting this as well, and this head up here. Before I add any highlights, I am going to start colouring in the overflows as well. Let's add some shadows on here. We are going to be adding highlights on the clothes as well, but they'll be pretty subtle to be fair. Just going in all the crevices and adding shadows where we can. Where there'll be any dark spots, like underneath the cloak, or between any wrinkles and gaps in the fabric. And then where the fabric folds up, we'll add a highlight as well. Anywhere that's out of reach or sight of the actual eyeball, we will also add shadow. Try not to get too carried away with the fabric folds. It can get out of hand really quickly. And I want to add some fire with this as well. Or some soft shadows, soft shading. Do the same here on the cape. We do have a pattern to put on this cape, which I honestly I should have done earlier before I started colouring in, but I'm just gonna leave that for now. I'll look at this stage. I'm gonna try and figure that out a little bit later. I honestly just forgot about it. I had a mental note that I was supposed to be doing it, but then just completely slipped my mind before we started doing the rendering. This color will be affected by the light, so there's no point shading it right now. Maybe a little bit here and there, for depth reasons, but other than that, we don't actually need to do that. The inside of the cape will be the darkest part, so I am completely fine with doing that for now. And just for the sake of adding a little bit more depth, I want to add some soft light, but give it a gradient on the inside of this cape. Not getting too dark. So this will just frame our character a little bit nicer as well, and give us like more visually interesting stuff to look at. Just adding a little highlight here and there just to differentiate parts of the cape so it's not all one solid or flat colour. Do the same to the pants, but before I forget, let's use this darker colour that we used to shade in our jumper and add it here as well, because that's also supposed to be dark. Same with pants. Do it on this layer. Just because we already have it here, so why not? Don't want to make too many layers. My PC is already struggling as it is, so. Do a thin wash brush instead. Sure we're keeping an eye on our main focus light. There's other light sources as well that'll be around here as well. And maybe a bit down here as well. go. Hands are looking nice. I'm just gonna add a gradient to shade these. Get a bit lazy. There we go. Cool. Just add a little bit of soft light down here as well. I will need to add all the other little details as well, like the bands or the trousers flying around as well. I'm not liking how vibrant this part of the cape is right now, so I'm gonna have to change that later. It's a bit too bright, a bit too saturated right now. Especially compared to the dull matte grey jumper. This will need changing. Now that all this is done, we can move on to lighting. Just trying to think, maybe I should focus on doing his cloak first. The pattern on it. Oh, I think I'm gonna do that last and just add it in post as an edit. We need to do the hair as well, but the hair can wait. Yeah, definitely coming together now. Especially if I just went to the fire layer and added a big ol' like color add layer. Glow dodge, or glow dodge. Really brings everything together. Now, you see what I mean? But before we do that, we want to add some lighting. But before I add the lighting, I'm just going to go take care of something really quick. So I know it's early, but I'm going to have another quick break. I just feel I need to take care of something right now. And by something I mean my tooth. My tooth really hurts right now. I'm gonna go check it out. It's really distracting me. Alrighty, I'm back. Where was I? Lighting? Thought out some lighting. So, let's start with the skin layer again. I'm just gonna merge these layers for the sake of convenience. And then make a new layer for lighting. Start with the edge light on the face. Light will normally be around the edge of the face. The nose, where the light hits him. The light travels around the cheeks. We can add that as well. And let's just soften those edges as well. I'm gonna be a bit more controlled with light sources than you do want to be with shadows. Here, this looks a bit wonky because it's way too intense. We'll also bring it down a bit as well. And then onto the fingers, we'll add light here. The edges and tops. You're wondering why I keep flipping the canvas, because I keep accidentally pressing the button. Completely an accident. The H button is right next to the J button. J is to use my blending tool, H is to flip my canvas. Also doing this lie on an overlay layer, which I don't normally do. I kind of feel like it's more appropriate here. I'll hide this ball of fire just so I can focus on adding light to the hands as well, the main part of the hand. Getting all our big blocky parts of light out of the way. Any edge of the hands. Any bump where you think it hits the light. Any part that's really close to the light source. You want to do all those. Remember to keep blending it as well. And we can add highlights on top of these light sources. Highlights on top of highlights. I'm also going to add a quick shadow down here as well. But this part needs one a little bit. Back to our light source. And now I'm going to do a layer underneath that and add soft light, just like we did for the shadows, where we added a soft shadow underneath and add a soft light on the top. That is not light, that is dark. So, quickly adding little bits of soft light wherever we can. And if it's ever too much, we can just erase it a bit as well. Mainly from the front fingers. Mainly where we want to erase stuff. Some creases as well though. Burn up those cheeks. And then reduce the opacity of it a bit. See how it changes everything a little bit more. We're gonna keep it at like 30%. Color this little thingamajig, make it nice and golden. I kind of want to have it like have a little brass feel, I guess. Maybe let's go for that. I don't think I've ever blood and brass before though, so I don't know how exactly to feel about that. I'll just put a little red tint over it and hope for the best. So when I do gold, I do the Blizzard gold technique. Never worked at Blizzard, but I would have loved to work at Blizzard. But they don't hire people from my country. Well, maybe they do, but they mostly just hire people from America. But basically, you just it's the same way I made my stream overlay. Do brown and add little bits of orange or yellow, and then it ends up looking golden. By some magic, and add highlights as well in between that. I don't really think that exactly works. I'm just gonna look by reference really quick to see what colors I should be using. Yeah, so I'm going to want brown. Well, not really too brown in this case, actually. Like, yeah, that color works. Now I have to clean up all these little yellow bits off the side as well. They look a little bit ugly. And then we just want to add a brighter yellower color. And an even brighter color on the inside of that as well. Followed by some little edge lights here and there as well. just for me doing this side bit, because wasn't a huge fan of it. I could just get all this. This might be a bit hard. Tell you what, this is probably an easier idea. Do that. This. That. Add. On a bit. And then we'll just erase some of the side bits as well. Merge those, and then let's go back to quick mask. It does look a bit messy here, but I can clean that up later. That's a little gold brooch now. Brass, golden brass, either one. And we just need to do the hair. Oh, you know what? Actually, we still need to do the highlights on the clothes as well. Let's quickly do a new layer. Start doing the highlights on clothes. Oh, okay. There we go. I'm not gonna go super detailed on this this section here. The lighting on the pants. Just the same as what we've been doing before. Just try and work the light into the folds of the fabrics. Try to have the light parts facing where the light source is coming from, in this case the fire. Like how on this pocket, they're doing the light source here, and the light source here, because the pocket is facing towards our light source. Same one here, I normally try and do the light source on the top of a fold rather than the bottom of a fold. That's what the light source is. Normally higher up. And then I'm going to just do some soft light as well, but I'm not going to bother doing this on another layer. I'm just going to do this over the top. So be a bit lazy with it. Some of these highlights do look a little bit too harsh. I'm just blending some of them a bit. But ultimately, I'm going to end up reducing the opacity of this layer a lot, which will help a ton. Do the same thing over here as well. There won't be a ton of light on this because it's a very dark jumper, but it's also very close to the light source, the fireball. So we are going to have quite a lot of light to work with here. This won't be very visible. And again, you don't want to get too carried away with painting in these light sources, otherwise it can look very overwhelming and kind of ugly. I feel like every single fold has a very sharp, prominent light source on it. And then there's going to be a whole lot of light over here. So let's go into that right now. Oops. Yeah, this is what I was saying when you add too much light source, it can start to get a hand look a bit early. But thankfully we are going to dim this. And also hopefully when we add the extra light source, it should look a bit nicer as well. I'm gonna remove some of these as well. Just shadow tool. Well, not shadow tool. With a soft brush. And go over this again with a soft brush, brighter. Now it's a bit nicer. It does look a bit metallic rather than clothes like, but we'll just add another brush over the top of that eventually anyway. Anyway, let's reduce all that. 50%, 30%, I want to say 40%, 50%. And add a quick gradient as well. Change it to normal really quick. Yeah, you can see it's looks a bit strange when it's in normal mode. Give it an overlay for everyone's sake. Change it back to 50%. Yeah, and that's looking fine to me. Looking fine. Come here. I'm going to want to add highlights to the top of the cloak now. It will be brighter and redder. I've noticed I'm getting a bit afraid to add bright colours. It's biting me in the bump, the back a bit. So let's not be afraid. Let's add really bright, bold colours. I don't know why I started being a bit timid with my colours though. Just keep sticking to using dark colours, getting into a bad habit. You wanna bite the bullet, go bold. You're adding highlights. Highlights are to be seen. You need them to be bright. It's okay to not want to ruin your drawing by adding too much of a difference and keeping everything look relatively consistent. But it will harm you if you keep doing it. I made that mistake all the time. let's add a bit of a soft bush here. Go. I'm going to add a quick soft bush layer over the top of this, and I might even add another layer over the top of that as well, just to brighten everything up a little bit more. Yeah, that's already made a huge difference to what it looked like before. Oops, I added the soft push on the wrong layer. Change that really quick. Bring the opacity down on that a little bit. To these two together and just blend them in a little bit more so it doesn't look too strange. And light source is hitting the cape and everything around the cape. So we want to have that. And here you can see that light source on the cape definitely brings a lot to the table here. Definitely brings the piece together a little bit more, or a lot more. And we're not even done yet. We gotta add more colors here because it's looking too plain. It's all red. We can add more colors. We are adding lighting to account for the fire that is going to eventually be reflected onto the character, but this will not be the only light source. We will also be adding a light source directly from the fire itself and be going over everything with that layer. Just all these little things. Right now I'm just adding a little bit of variation in colours because it's looking a bit too red for me. I just want to change a little bit here and there. I have kind of messed up a bit because this is a bit too harsh for what I want. So we'll go soften that. and bish bash bosh. Really finding that balance between light source and shadows. Yeah, you can see that one light source layer adds a lot when you're bold with your colors. Oh my god! I only just realized I had the break time screen on this entire time. Oh no, that's horrible. Oh no! I can't believe I just did that. No! Oh, you didn't even get to see any of that. Okay, well. Setting the lighting onto the cape. So it did look like this, with only shadows on it. And then we added all the highlights and lighting. And it looks a lot nicer now. I can't believe I left that break screen on the entire time. Oh no. Yikes. Big yikes. That was a horrible decision from me. Oh no, to check that in the future. Why did nobody let me know in chat? No. Oh well, it is what it is. I wonder how long I had that on for. It's been about an hour. Maybe half an hour? It was definitely for the entire cape. Maybe for the... Oh, the crap, it was for the entire lighting section. Oh no. It was if the I hope it wasn't for the fingers as well. It was definitely for the trousers, jumper and cape. Whoops. Well, I'm gonna leave it here for today. I think that's enough drawing for today, or what little you saw of the drawings. Tomorrow we are going to be doing the same thing, rendering and coloring more, but we'll be rendering the hair and the fireball and maybe the background as well. We'll be adding extra lighting from the fireball, we'll be adding lighting onto the hair, we'll be having to effects on the hair and effects in the foreground and background, blurring stuff, blah 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 blah. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time tomorrow. Maybe a bit earlier.